Christine Sevigny from Caledon Meals on Wheels. I'm the Executive Director, and I've been with the organization for about 10 years. And I'm really excited to tell you a little bit about what we do and how we do it. We run a variety of programs and services throughout Caledon and Orangeville and some of the surrounding areas. We're best known for our Meals on Wheels program, but we also have senior social and wellness groups that run throughout the communities, as well as friendly visiting and a program called Project Lifesaver, which helps people who are at risk of wandering. But today, we're really happy to feature our Meals on Wheels program. Now, we do have a hot and frozen meal program, but today's feature is the hot meals. In previous years, we always outsourced our meals to other local suppliers, which we still do for our frozen meals, but we're really excited to say that in the year 2000, we decided to go out on our own and open our own kitchen where we provide hot, fresh, and very nutritious meals to our community.
Hi, my name is Scott McNeil. I'm the cook here at Caledon Meals on Wheels. And we're just getting our lunch together on a Wednesday. We have to do 3 different meals, and we've been here since 7 a.m. just cooking. So let's check out what's going on. So we've got a winter vegetable soup here, spiced with some smoked paprika primarily. We've got carrots and squash, onions, potato. So we're going to serve soup to everybody. We have our main dish is going to be a beef curry, house-made masala mix. We're going to be adding some coconut milk to this shortly. We're just cooking the veg, and the beef is cooking away right now. We'll combine them later. We're going to have some chicken breasts for another meal, boiled potato. We have some carrots in the oven, roasting for coconut carrots, and we're going to be serving some lovely Brussels sprouts as well. This is chuck, beef chuck, diced, and it's been braised for 3 hours, or the equivalent of 30 minutes in the Instapot. And I'm just doing another batch of that to go in the stew for today as well. So we're going to add this now. At most Meals on Wheels, as far as I know, meals are not really made in-house. Caledon Meals on Wheels, we wanted to change that. So they hired me to launch an in-house meal program. So everything we make here is cooked from scratch. We did that because we don't want to serve primarily ready-made, frozen, prepackaged meals. I think the philosophy is that a scratch-cooked meal is going to have a better nutritional value, allow more vegetables and to get into the mix, better quality food, and it's my interest to show that you can do that kind of cooking and still maintain your program within a budget. To my mind, you either choose to put your money into the food that's already made or into the labor to make the food. So thankfully, Caledon Meals on Wheels shares that vision, and we are putting the money into the labor to produce great quality, nutritious food. And so that's what you're seeing us do here today. Don't want to lose all this good stuff. All right, we're building flavor now. I love that I feel like I'm contributing to people's overall well-being and health. I like that I'm supporting local agriculture by purchasing food that's primarily local whenever possible. I like that I'm sharing my skills with the people I work with, training them, hoping to inspire them and pass on a similar viewpoint and attitude. And I like a feeling of I think participating in a movement that overall is showing that it's possible to produce nutritious food like we used to do with raw ingredients, and instead of relying on heavily processed convenience food items. So Joanna's packing up desserts. We don't make our own desserts in-house right now. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to do that as well. But right now we're purchasing bars, sugar-free desserts as well as regular desserts for our clients, and we do provide a sugar-free option for people who aren't able to have, or who are diabetic or aren't able to have sugar. We also offer sugar-free pureed items and non-sugar-free pureed items for people who have swallowing issues as well. And we also are accommodating gluten-free and vegetarian diets as well. In order to battle food insecurity, we have to have food sources that are accessible to geographically to our area. It's a struggle for the agriculture and the local farming to survive in this like a global food economy. So I think it's important to try to support local agriculture, be part of the solution, be part of sustaining that our local agricultural system by purchasing their products. I would like to do more. I'd like to say we're doing 100% local. That's a goal that will come one day, but right now it's not actually possible for us in the context of what we're doing here. But when it's in season, I'm always purchasing locally. I'm trying not to purchase too much out of season. Our carrots are from the Holland Marsh. Our ground beef's from here in Bolton area, from DeBur's Market. Our chicken's coming just from Brampton. Our onions, also Holland Marsh. So I think it's just very important to try to support our local agricultural system. And the food is better for you. It hasn't traveled so far. It's fresher, better quality. Well, here we're working on a 4-week rotating menu. So we have 3 days of cooking per week. We provide food for people for as many days as they want on each of those days. So some of our clients will have 3 or 4 meals that they receive each time we deliver. We have 3 meals that we do each of those days, so we can provide some variety. We can also accommodate dietary restrictions. If someone's not able to have a certain item, we can accommodate with another meal. And we decide based on kind of the list of preferences that people have. They provide us with things that they don't like or like. We try to incorporate obviously some variety. There's budgetary considerations as well. For example, we are luckily able to serve chicken breast, not just thigh, but the way we do that is by getting whole chicken and then cutting it up ourselves. Just trying to keep it interesting for ourselves as well as for the clients. And we try to change the menu at least every 3 months, kind of based on what's available from our suppliers and seasonally available. Super tender. Doing this job has really made me appreciate through the dishwasher.
So Caledon Meals on Wheels has been around since 1984, and it actually started with a group of local volunteers. And I think in the early days, I think the first set of meals went out and there was 14 meals. And since then, we've been supplying between 25 and 29,000 meals to the Caledon, Orangeville, and surrounding areas each year. Our volunteer base, we have about 120 volunteers, and in other years we've gone up to over 200 volunteers in the community. We rely on our volunteers to deliver our meals as well as help us in all other aspects of our organization. And so the friendly folks that show up at the door to deliver the meals are almost always volunteers who love to work in the community and love to meet seniors and people with disabilities on their deliveries.
Well, I retired about 3 years ago, and my mom, who's not with us anymore, had some meal help down in Burlington where she lived, and so I just thought it'd be a nice way to kind of repay.
I've been working full-time for years and not contributing back to the community, so this was just perfect for me. It doesn't take up a lot of time. It's only an hour to 2 hours every 2 weeks, and you can take on as much as you want. So.
I started right from the beginning in October of 1984. When it first started, family members, grandfather and my father both were needing the service, and it was a great service to start with, and there was, I guess, about 15 people from the area that asked for volunteers and decided to do it, and never expected so many years later still doing it, but it's the time goes and it's, you know, such a great service.
I just didn't love the interaction with the clients. Everybody's very appreciative for what you're doing. And, you know, I spent a lot of my career in administrative, and this is just a little more hands-on, which I absolutely enjoy. Just the weekly interaction, you kind of develop friendships.
It's flexible, you can pick your days, and I really enjoy the clientele. Everybody's always happy to see you, everybody wants to chat. I'm a stay-at-home retiree, so I just love the interaction with
You feel so good giving back to the community. You feel it's very flexible. You do it usually twice a month, but if there's a day you have to change or something, they'll change no problem, and you just feel good seeing people in their homes and that, and it's great that they're able to stay in their homes longer with the service.
Well, I would say you can choose the level at which you volunteer, so it's very flexible that way. It's through the week, and you know, it's just for a great cause, and I just truly feel that any kind of volunteering is just good for your personal well-being as well. So
again, it's nothing stressful. The weather's bad, your route gets canceled. Bags aren't heavy, you know, if you need a day off you can switch with other people, so it's a pretty easy volunteer and very rewarding. As I said, everyone's so happy to see you. So
it's just a great organization, it's great service, and you just feel like you're giving back to the community.
No, just that I've thoroughly enjoyed, I always say they always thank me for doing Meals on Wheels, and I always feel like I should be thanking them because I truly enjoy it, so that's all I would say.
I think it's a great program. It's a great program. The food is fantastic. It makes people eat properly. We have people in their 90s that are living on their own and leading healthy lifestyles. There's lots of other things beyond the meals. There's fitness programs, and there's group meals for people. They keep people engaged and help them stay home longer.
Wash the cilantro and cut it. That's for the curry. Yeah, all of it. Wash it really well. It's got a lot of sand rust. This is a little bit too much meat. Our meals are 4 ounces of protein. So what I'll do is cut the chicken and give everyone some of the breast. Usually about That's usually a portion there, including the bone. These are nice big chickens, fryer size. Ideally I would have rested it, but we're kind of pressed for time. I wouldn't cut it for another, like if I was doing this properly, I wouldn't cut it for another 10 or 15 minutes, leave it in the hot box, but we have to
Hello, I'm Roxanne Genova. I am the Client and Volunteer Services Supervisor, and I've been here for just over a year and a half. So from a volunteer perspective, I onboard volunteers where needed, whether that be volunteer for a friendly visitor program, whether that be for volunteers for our drivers. So I onboard Orangeville and also Caledon area, and I sort of oversee that program. And with regards to meals, I sort of oversee the meals coordinator and the program assistant to make sure all goes well and meals are served. So one things that I would like to point out is that I want to be able to debunk any misconceptions about the sort of traditional institutional meals that we serve, and the fact that quality control is very important to us, and which gives us the opportunity to be in the kitchen and taste our food, so we can hold true to what we serve. I think what has stuck right from the beginning is that Meals on Wheels is sort of more than just the meals, and I really hold true to that because it's true. We provide security checks with every meals, and I think that's sort of like a really important component to understand and appreciate from a client perspective and a caregiver perspective. Because it gives caregivers the reassurance that we're not only just sort of knocking on the door and dropping off a meal and walking away, that we're actually making contact with that client. And if there's ever an issue or the client doesn't open the door, then we know that that we call make sure we call them or their emergency contacts and letting them know just to see if there's, to make sure that they're okay. So there's that extra assurance, and there's also that assurance for our clients when they sign in, and to, maybe we are the only contact they have those days a week. And it gives them a smile, on that delivery, as well as, again, reassurance. Maybe they're, they've been isolated, they don't get that many visitors, their family's far away. So it is that extra that we give with the meals. So it's important to me, and it's important to the whole organization.
just take something like that. Okay. And then the rice and this. Or this one, whichever one. Doesn't matter. Yep. No rice. We like to.
Hi, I'm Maureen Chilko. I'm the Meals Coordinator for Caledon Meals on Wheels.
Do you have any more questions while we're doing this or not? Am I still light?
I've been with Meals on Wheels now for about a year and a half. When I was looking for work at that time, I was trying to find something that mattered. I wanted to be able to get up in the morning and look forward to going to work, enjoy the environment, do something that mattered, and I landed here and I love it. As the meals coordinator, I'm responsible for doing intakes, for doing changes, for doing all the scheduling, for ordering up the meals. So 3 times a week I have to go through. I send the orders through for the chef at the kitchen. We have to monitor for food allergies, for dislikes, for things that clients can or cannot have. So I make sure that the kitchen gets a comprehensive production list of what we need and how many of each different selection. I answer any client questions, make sure that they are getting what they need. Do they need cuts? Do they need specific dietary requirements? I think it's really important for clients because we do have a strong base of clients that are senior citizens who are trying to stay in their own homes, and they need that nutritional support. They don't necessarily have family in the community or someone that can help them look after that, or even when they do, everyone's working. So this way, mom and dad or grandma and grandpa are getting a solid nutritional meal delivered to their home. In order to qualify for Meals on Wheels service, the client must be 65 years of age or older, or can have a disability at any age, or a short-term medical situation going on. We had one gentleman who was going through a rather aggressive cancer treatment, and in advance he had set up Meals on Wheels because he was going to be on bed rest for several weeks at home and needed his meals. Part of our meal service, of course, is our security check, and we recently had a good example of why that works so well with our meal service. We had a gentleman who was not responding for his meal delivery. We called in, he was not responding to this phone call. So as per protocol, we called his emergency contact in the city. She also could not reach him. She ended up calling police to do a wellness check, and he was found in his home in medical distress and had to be transported to hospital. That's one of the vital services we provide in addition to hot meals.
I think I always say to people that if you think of our name, Caledon Meals on Wheels, you also have to remember that we're more than Caledon, we're more than meals, and we're more than seniors. And so if you're interested in promoting health and wellness in your own life, if you're a senior or a person with a disability or even a caregiver, look into our programs and services because they're all geared towards improving health and wellness for the community.
Trying to get to come Monday. Hopefully we can make it.
I love working at Caledon Meals on Wheels because of the wonderful Caledon and Dufferin community that we serve. I particularly enjoy working with seniors and people with disabilities. Our goal and our aim is to help promote health and wellness so that people can live independently in their homes for as long as possible. And that, for me, is an incredibly worthwhile endeavor, and that's why I love to work for Caledon Meals on Wheels.
I just love it, and I appreciate it more than I can tell you. More than I can tell you. I'm one of the lucky ones that gets Meals on Wheels. I cannot say enough for Meals on Wheels itself and for the people who bring it. There's nobody like them in this world.
If you're interested in our programs and services, feel free to give us a call, 905-857-7651, or you can look on our website, www.cmow.org. Also, if you're interested in trying a meal, there's no service contract, there's no obligation. You can call us, and after a short interview over the phone, there is an opportunity for you to try the meals. You can get it once a week, you can get it once a month, you can get it when your spouse goes on vacation. So you can get it when you come back from the hospital for a short-term basis, or you can do it long-term as well.
Hi everybody, my name is Pat Quigley and I'm a producer here with Rogers TV Dufferin-Caledon. And I'm also a producer of the show Discover Dufferin-Caledon. There's so much more to discover within Dufferin-Caledon and I need your help. Please email me at pat.quigley, Quigley, at rci.rogers.com and help me find out more about the area and more places to profile, more people to talk to, and just more fun to see just what this place holds. Keep watching Discover Dufferin-Caledon and all the rest of the great content we have on Rogers TV Dufferin-Caledon.